Hey y'all, if you're out there, leave a comment. I'm here with my sister Season to talk insecure, but I want to make sure that y'all see that we're here. So if you're out there, leave a comment. Hey, Privy. So there's going to be spoilers because we just finished watching the latest episode, episode 9 of season 4, and we've been doing these recordings. All right. Hey, Delante, we've been doing these recordings and then I will post it later. But I was like, hey, why don't I try doing it live? It's just the two of us today. It's not everybody else was busy, I guess, booked and busy. But so I'm gonna try to focus more so on the conversation rather than the comments. But I'll see if how good I am at multitasking. I don't have that much faith in myself to be able to do it too well. But leave your comments to respond, and if something catches my eye, then I'll make sure that that I incorporate it into our discussion. If you have a response to anything that we say, then I will see what there is to talk about. So hey Delante, hey Olio, hey Robin. I got everybody who's left a comment so far. So Season, listen, this was episode 9. And for a change, we actually got several plots going on at one time instead of just focusing on one thing, which I did like. What did you think of the episode? Is it a thumbs up or is it a thumbs down?
I'll give it a thumbs up.
I give it a thumbs up too. I give it a thumbs up too. So let's start with the beginning. Okay. I was really shocked actually to see it open up with Issa and Lawrence doing that little boo thing. And they were having lots of sex, they were having lots of kikis. And obviously, some time has elapsed with them going back and forth. So, what were your thoughts? Well, first of all, let's start with the text that she got from Nathan. So Nathan texts her, are you still going to be able to come through? And Issa, to me, which I think is absolutely remarkable to see from her, is completely transparent and tells Lawrence that she has a friend that she used to deal with, and he wants to see her. She wants to remain friends. What do you think about Issa kind of coming clean with Lawrence? Do you think that's a good sign about her level of transparency, or do you think that she didn't really owe him that at that point?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, he asked her to help him move, so it's not like he was saying, "Oh, let's go to dinner," or "Let's go out for drinks." He was asking for her for something very specific. So I don't know if she necessarily owed, what's his name? Lawrence,
Lawrence, yeah.
all of that. But I mean, I guess it's cool that she did. I mean, I guess I would have did the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, when you have the history that they have, obviously with the cheating, and that sucks that that's going to always have to be something that's brought up, then it certainly doesn't hurt to be more transparent than not. You know, and Privy saying the same thing. She didn't tell him because of her past, yeah, infidelities. Yeah, so I think that that's like that definitely starts to build trust beyond just that, oh, we're having a good time or whatever. But when that kind of sparks a conversation about, oh, well, what are we? And Lauren says that he's still talking to Condola. I was like, okay, y'all doing a whole lot of fucking and kikiing for you to have a whole nother chick that you still talking to.
No, he said the complete opposite.
Oh, well, what did he say? Because I could have sworn I heard him say that we still talk. What did he
No,
say?
he said we talked and we're done.
Oh, I missed that part. I missed that
Yeah,
part.
no, he said that they talked and they're done. And that was it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, all right.
Does that change the whole episode for you?
Hell yeah, it changes a lot of stuff for me because I completely caught that. Okay, so everybody in the comment is back you up season. What the hell was I listening to? I don't know. I don't know what happened, but okay, so that makes things different. Okay, I feel better now because I was really about to be going off on Lawrence, like, oh, how dare you sit up there and do all this for Issa, and then you turn around and you still talking to Condola, and I was just thinking like, okay, there's gonna be a scene with Lawrence and Condola. I don't want to see that shit. I was really ready to be angry, but Okay, thank you for clarifying that for me. All right, so cool. All right, cool. So, but Lawrence still has this whole San Francisco thing, and that kind of dangles throughout the show. And I appreciated that Issa was being supportive, and I think that it's smart for Lawrence to continue to explore that and not necessarily drop everything just because him and Issa are kind of starting to start up again. Um, what do you think about the whole San Francisco thing at this point? I mean, obviously he wouldn't stop pursuing that just because of Issa, right?
Right. I think he should go for it. It's always what he wanted to do. So, I mean, yeah, I don't see it. He should go for that for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so let's fast forward. I was taking notes about it. All right. All right.
You took notes?
I did. I try to take notes because I'm like, you know what? I have all these things that I want to talk about. And then, like, as soon as you start talking, I forget about everything. All right. So let's move on to Molly. Molly is in therapy, right?
Mhm.
And it's everybody else around Molly is wrong, even though she's the common denominator in every situation. And I thought that the therapist really hit the nail on the head when she said that, do you want to be right or do you want to be in relationships? Now, I don't see where Molly has been right any of this stuff, but I do think that that was a very, very important part of it's not always about who's right or who's wrong. It's about the fact that you have to push through when you're dealing with any kind of relationship. What did you think about that whole therapy session? And I'm not even going to get to what happened afterwards. Let's just talk about the therapy session.
I mean, it's clear that she's there because she wants help. She wants insight. But that's not what she's trying to take away from it. She's
Mm-hmm.
trying to get confirmation for what she feels. And like, she's not there to really absorb any or really think outside the box, outside of her own feelings. She's just not receptive to that. So
She's very closed off, and the therapist did called it, So it's like, well, why are you sitting here wasting your money, girl? If you're gonna be in therapy and you write about everything, everybody else is wrong, and you don't want to do anything about it. It just seems like a vanity exercise. And the depths of her resentment are really just she needs to really handle that. I mean, the depth of her resentment towards her father and finding out that he cheated probably decades earlier, and her mom had already forgiven her and she was all fucked up about it. So it's like, okay, Molly, I need you to deal with your shit and not take stuff so internalize stuff so much because I didn't think that what's going on with Issa is as deep as she's trying to make it out, just like the same thing with Victor. So let's go back to Issa. So Issa reaches out to Molly, right? I personally was like, I thought Issa was not going to do that, or I don't think that she had that obligation. But when you are trying to do the work and when you are a mature person, then perhaps yes, maybe you do go on ahead and reach out first. But how hilarious was that scene, that like kind of like fantasy scene of calling Molly? What did you think about that?
I mean, that's what I was thinking when she called her. I said, "Now, Issa, when you call this bitch, you can't be talking about your problems. You got to play her game and be all about her," which was perfectly represented in the scene at Pam's. So
Yeah.
I thought that was like I think that was very accurate. Like, girl, you can't be calling this girl like I need some advice, and she just cussed you out at your own event. Girl, no.
Right. So let's talk about pans. Molly does agree to show up. And Issa is very clearly she's clearly like really wanting to make it work and clearly wanting to move past it. And Molly is just giving her nothing. I mean, I couldn't believe how hard Issa had to work. Like at that point, why even show the fuck up? That's what I don't understand. What did you think about that dynamic between Issa and Molly? With like you said, it had to be all about Molly just for her to even warm up a little bit.
I really hated that for Issa. I mean, Molly didn't ask her how she was doing, how was work, nothing. Like, it was just painful to watch on Issa's behalf. And even if they did kind of warm up and got to kikiing and stuff, you still you still had to walk away from that feeling a little something. But even afterwards, Issa was still hopeful, like things were gonna go back to normal. But it was just a really painful and like sad scene. It's like, girl, this bitch don't give a fuck. That may not be how she feel in her hearts of hearts, but she don't give a fuck about you, boo. She don't.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like it was just you can't sit there and be like, that's my best friend and I love her, but then you really don't because you're being abusive towards her. I felt like that conversation was very abusive. If Molly's issue was okay, it's very superficial, as she later told Andrew, then why not make it less superficial? Why not step to Issa? Obviously, you're in therapy, you have really serious issues about it. Then why not go on ahead and bring it up? It's like you're just sitting up there waiting for her to like kiss your feet and and I just thought it was just complete bullshit. And actually did make me sad too how the complete opposite views that Molly and Issa took away from it. So let's talk about Molly's takeaway. So Molly goes back with Andrew and she's like, oh, it's fine. But then the more she talks about it, it's clear to Andrew that Molly hasn't made the effort. And I thought that was, first of all, it was one of the first times that we've even seen him really kind of push back on Molly. And she immediately got very defensive. What was your reaction to Andrew? Do you think that he made the right call in trying to press her a little bit on her interactions with Issa?
I mean, I think he's genuinely concerned, which is great. But I do at the same time kind of understand how, as a woman, when you're in confiding in your mate about issues with your friends, you kind of just want them to more so listen than offer that advice. But clearly Andrew's not going to take that route. You know,
Mhm.
he's gonna have a soft hand and be soft spoken about it, but he's clearly not there to just listen and not say anything. But I don't think he's gonna be around for long, honey. I really
Hey, hello, I'm trying to.
don't.
So the way she was acting, but here's the thing. I think that because I think that um, if you can compartmental, if you try to, if it's something like with Molly and Issa, that's like a one off. I think it's easier to just listen. But obviously, Molly's behavior towards Issa is also kind of how her behavior is towards Andrew's brother, who is Andrew's brother Victor. And I thought that when he said, "Oh, well, you have to meet her halfway," and then he turned around and talked about, he told her about the invite to the Clippers game, great seats, and she immediately shoots him down. So, that's why it's not so easy for him, I would imagine, to just sit up there and just let it go, because she has all of these fractured relationships. She has all of this resentment and anxiety that she has towards different people. And Issa tries to make it right and reaches out to her, and she kind of like blows her off a little. I mean, she goes, but she doesn't have open energy. And then now you have Victor, who has also trying to try to extend an olive branch, and Molly is again uncompromising and not willing to meet him halfway. What do you think about that? I mean, it seemed clear to me that Andrew did not like that. He didn't press it at that moment, but once they went to the game, and he commented that, well, it was noticeable that you weren't there because you were invited as well. And she just, again, being defensive, was like, well, why would you want to make me uncomfortable? What do you think about that?
I mean, I'm so torn on a lot of this because trust
Yeah.
me, I'm not a fan of Molly and just her overall behavior right now. I think she is just lashing out at Issa and she's taking advantage of Andrew being such a nice guy. But at the same time, as I said a couple of episode recaps ago, like we don't black women don't get that space and that time and that opportunity to sort through their shit. Like we're,
Mhm.
so on one hand, I feel like everybody needs to just kind of step back and let her take a little time to either maybe keep going to therapy or just figure her shit out. Like sometimes you don't have to resolve shit immediately or when the other person is ready. It's sometimes it's you don't have to do that. So I would rather Molly just physically keep herself separate from people that she's not feeling right now than say go and like she could have went to the Clippers game and got into it again with the brother. So
Mhm.
I don't see an issue. I think she can be less defensive
Mhm.
and be more articulate
Mhm.
about her feelings as to why she doesn't want to fuck with Victor right now or why she's not trying to bend and break with Issa. If she was just a little bit more like, if she just was a little bit more transparent other than, oh, they pissed me off, they wrong, I'm not fucking with them right now. If she just dug a little deeper and was more honest, then I think people would be cool with her, giving her a little space and a little time. But she should not go around anybody that she is either going to treat like shit or have the potential to get into it with all over again.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent. I mean, I think that if you know that you don't have the capacity to not act like an asshole, then you should not go in that space. I
Yeah.
think that a basketball game is a completely, how hard is it to go to a basketball game and watch a damn game? It's you have beer and at most you're going to interact walking inside or whatever. It's not a very talkative type of event. So to me that would be a great icebreaker for me, but I have a different, I just like to be in the scene anyway. So that's
Yeah,
my
that's what I was
perspective.
finna say. Miss Socialite. No,
I know,
ma'am.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, I know. So I'm probably not the right person to judge that. I do understand your point about Black women not given the space to kind of process things and not given the grace to process those things. However, Molly has also done things to these people. So it's not a matter of just, oh, somebody wronged her and people are just expecting her to get over it. She has been equally, if not more, wrong in each of these situations. Now, when it comes to Victor, Victor was completely wrong in how he approached her. I think we can all agree with that. But she also said a lot of really like not cool things towards him. And Victor is the one that's willing to suck it up. And Issa is the one that's willing to suck it up. So at some point, you have a responsibility to extend people the same grace that they're extending to you. You can't just, I don't know. And that's just how I feel. I feel like she has no grace towards anybody else, but she expects all of the grace for herself. And it seemed to me that it really did bother Andrew. And I think that that is why, when it came to Issa and Nathan stopping by, she really tried to, try to play it up how much she's trying to kind of deflect away from him being upset that she blew off his brother. But I do think too that, like I said, I don't know. For me, I still feel like what happened at the resort, it's a vacation. They're in a beautiful exotic getaway, and you had an argument. I kind of feel like get over it. You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck over it and move on. You're not a person that you have to deal with on any kind of regular, consistent basis. If a person comes to you and you might not necessarily want to do it, but you just suck it up. That's kind of what you do for at least for your mate. No.
No, it is. I mean, just personally, my husband has non-black friends that I have been around and that have not been feeling me at certain points.
Yeah.
And I'm cordial when I have to go around them, but I am in no way, shape, or form running to sign up to fuck with them like that. So
Right.
at the same time, you do kind of suck it up on behalf of your significant other, but your significant other gotta respect that you know, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. And it's their responsibility to say, hey, this is actually really important to me. Can you just
Yeah.
do me this one solid and we just see how it goes? We can leave, you know. So I know they're new, but you know, like I think it could she have gone? Of course she could have gone, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But sometimes you know, men or anybody in relationships, they have to be clear, crystal clear on what's important to them. It's
Right.
especially when they're getting pushed back like that.
Right.
So
Well, and to his credit, he did come back after the game and he did come back and say, this isn't, you know, that it would have been nice. I'm glad that he didn't just like drop it.
yeah.
But I think I'm also kind of trying to hold her to a slightly different standard because she literally just had a fucking therapy session where the woman told her, do you want to be right or do you want to do the work? And she just like was like, oh, you just read me. So like you heard it loud and clear, but then you turned around the entire episode and did the
Girl,
exact opposite of what doing the work looks like.
therapy, it takes more than one session, boo.
It does. No, it does. I mean, to be clear, she had like a whole season of therapy already with the same person. So obviously none of that shit worked.
What was her
Um,
therapy sessions about before?
she was sleeping with Drew. Season, for those of y'all in the comments, Season did not watch every single episode of Insecure, but her episode, her therapy sessions was about her relationships, things like that. She's been in therapy, and I don't see the results of this therapy. And I understand that therapy is not a silver bullet
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, as to the therapist's point, you have to be willing to do the work. You know, you have to be open and receptive to what is being said. So I'm just going to read some of these comments. um Somebody says, you know, let's see, Issa and Molly both have flaws, but Molly's are so much harsher in the way she expresses herself. Even when she's right, she's still written in an unlikable way. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like she's written in a way that's accurate to how she acts. I don't know if she's written in an unlikable way because I don't see where I don't see a situation, too many situations where I feel like she's been completely right. Krista says, you make a good point. I agree that she needs to articulate her feelings instead of being super defensive. Then they would give her time. Yes, and that's what Susan, that's what you said, you know, just
Mhm.
actually say, listen, I'm hurt right now. I'm still processing it and I need more time. That's a lot better than trying to, you know, than trying to try to blow it off. Some Privy says Molly blows a lot of darts, but always the wounded person. I totally agree with that. Tamara says, I don't feel Molly needs to simply drop it. She needs to address it. I think we all can agree on that. Privy says she must learn to be present in this relationship. Tamara says, I see myself in Molly as much as I hate to admit it.
Mm.
Tamara, if I'm saying your name wrong, please can you type it out phonetically? I know I sound like kind of like a white woman asking you to type out your name phonetically, but yeah, go on ahead and tell us a little bit more about that. And Fabi says she was messing around with a married man too. She asks if Issa's the only messy one. Hello, let's remember that. Um, and JC says she stopped for a long time though. You're right. You can be in therapies for years, but if you're not ready, it won't work. So let's switch gears a little bit. And June says Molly was ride or die up to this season. I agree. Molly has been ride or die up into this season. But what I've seen from her this season, you have to recall earlier in the season, she was so busy, right? I mean, she was so busy. She was too busy for Andrew. She was too busy for Issa. And Issa, to me, what it seemed like the real resentment started was when Issa kind of built that friendship with Condola. And Molly felt like the odd person out. Let's remember that part. You know, she felt right. And it wasn't like Issa was like, oh, Condola is better than you. It was just something that, you know, that it seemed like Molly didn't really care for. House of Matri says their relationship has been dead from the jump. Whose relationship? Issa's mindset, don't hold on to things that don't serve you. Krista says, I'm Molly as well. It hurts me to see myself on the show because you don't think you're that bad. Listen, it's self. I appreciate you for reflecting and admitting that. Um, Molly's mindset, comma Jelini says Molly's mindset. I need to reclaim my position in this relationship with Issa, whereby making her get back in line behind my shadow. I agree. I totally agree with that. But let's talk about we spend a lot of time ragging on Molly. So let's move to Issa, who I think Issa without has just had to me had this really great transformation of actually like taking in what has the feedback that she's gotten, the very negative feedback that she's gotten from Molly, and she's checked herself because sometimes maybe you might talk about call people up, talk about yourself, or you might be a user in somebody's perception without even being it. So we've seen time and time again throughout this episode, like for instance the whole fantasy call, um or even when she was with Nathan, that making that effort to be a good friend, to be a good person, and to bring positivity and bring something to her relationships, and as well as being honest and transparent about her feelings. So we see her relationships getting stronger with Lawrence and even with Nathan. So she goes to Nathan, super awkward, right? Now I don't know from the show if they were dating, and we didn't see that. It did seem like they were, but Issa comes in to help Nathan unpack his apartment, being super awkward, and she fesses up to Nathan that she's seeing Lawrence again. Now Nathan was Salt Lake City. What did you think about Nathan's reaction?
He was like, "Oh, the one you cheated on." I was like,
That was so fucked up. That was such a low blow.
I don't, look, I if they are friends as they say they are, I don't think that comment was inappropriate. But I guess I thought that shit was funny. I mean, he brought that up. Then he brought up that Lawrence was wishy-washy, which, if I remember correctly, he after they broke up, he popped up and fucked her on the couch and then dipped and all that shit.
That was so fucked up. That was
What I'm
evil.
saying?
I did love when he said that he is sometimey. I love that when he said that because I
Right.
definitely agree with that.
And we've seen that in Lawrence's relationships outside of Issa.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in Molly's absence, it probably did serve Issa good to just remember that, because I feel like, she might be in the mindset, hey, I fucked this up and cheated on you while you were a fucking loser sleeping on my couch. And now I have to make sure I bring my A game. But she needs to remember at the same time, he got just as much to prove to her, So
Yes.
don't
Yes.
forget that, neither one of y'all were perfect, but you don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to forget and try, and this isn't a situation where you're winning him back, so
Yes. I
I didn't
agree.
I think it was definitely, I think Nathan handled it well for the most part, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it didn't hurt to have that little jewel thrown in there. It didn't hurt for me.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of people in the comments are talking about, they agree he was salty, and some people are rooting for Nathan. Um, so I think that everybody is kind of on us with us. Dree says Molly was Team Lawrence. Um, except for this season, she was really, remember that scene when she was overlooking Lawrence and Issa talking at Tiffany's house, and she was like, here she goes with that. She's definitely been salty about Issa and Lawrence this season. Um, Ellis says, I think what Nathan said was foreshadowing. That's also how I took it, to be honest with you. And to a certain point, we already know that kind of Lawrence has a trap door, right? Because he has this interview in San Francisco. And so to a certain extent, if he gets that interview and he's out, then sometime not to say that he shouldn't take the job, but I'm just saying that um yeah, I'm just saying that, I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket with Issa, but I'm proud of Issa for now. Lawrence did not make a commitment when she said, where are we? So I think that, it's right that I think it's right that she's going to continue her friendship with Nathan. It's transparent with him, transparent with Lawrence. It's great to not have any secrets. But I did think that she was also right to point out to Nathan, hey, you fucked me over too. Let's not forget that. But his response, I thought, was a great way of finally addressing it, revealing that he was bipolar. And she was very compassionate with it. And so I think that it was a great moment of just understanding that, it's not always about you. Even when somebody does you wrong, it's not necessarily like about you. It could just be about them and what they're going through. What did you think about that?
I'm still laughing at how he was like, the one you cheated on. That shit was so.
That was the saltiest probably moment. That's probably even saltier than even what Molly was saying. Like, damn, you decided to go out like that. Shit, that's why people can't. You can't tell people. Don't tell people that you cheated on your ex. Chat. They're gonna bring that shit up every chance they get. Oh, you a fucking cheater. That's why. That's because you're a cheater. Like, damn.
I would have been like, oh, yes, the nigga I cheated. That gave me the giggles, child. Okay, so I like the little mental health moment they had right there, and I thought that was a really good scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, like, shit, around their age is when you really start to realize, like, well, damn, is something wrong with me? Like, am I
Mm-hmm.
not handling things well? Like, should I go get a check-in and see what's going on? So I think that whole, mental health note is really a really good storyline or addition to that whole relationship. Because I'm just begging for them to address postpartum with Tiffany. But
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
we ain't gonna get that. But
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, especially when you're dealing with male female relationships, sometimes these dudes go MIA, and when they pop back up, they may have a story for you, and they may not. But telling a woman you're bipolar is like, that has to be really tough. So I was very pleased with that entire scene. I loved it.
It was one of the best scenes of the entire season because it
Mhm.
showed so much growth and transparency. And sometimes these conversations might start in a super awkward way, or sometimes somebody might say something. You might hit a low blow, but then it comes back to something that's actually productive. Peace Minded said, I was checking that she has chemistry and inside jokes with Nathan too. He needs to do his work though, so does Lawrence. That is exactly what I saw. Oh, Fiona says, great episode, great directing by Kerry Washington. Kerry did that.
How did she cry?
Don't do Kerry like that. Don't do Kerry like that.
I can't even do it.
Don't do my girl like that. I love me some Kerry Washington. Hello. She directed her ass off in this episode.
I can't do it. Ooh, I can't do her gummy.
Don't
cry.
do that. Don't do that.
I know, because I look terrible.
But Carrie did her thing. Dree says, I've personally been with someone who struggled with bipolar depression, many ups and downs, along with isolation modes like Nathan. Yeah, so I agree. I mean, there's no perfect relationship. There's no perfect person, and I think that's where communication really, really helps a great deal. But let's just wrap up at least the kind of relationship part, right? I was really rooting for Nathan. Now, part of me rooting for Nathan was because I misheard Lawrence say that he was not talking to Condola. I thought he said he was still talking. I was like, oh, hell to the fuck no. But I do think that what this episode showed, and let's move forward to the scene where Nathan and Issa show up at Andrew's place to finish packing. And Andrew, I guess, Andrew invites them to stick around. Issa is like, oh no, it's okay, trying to fill out Molly. And to the earlier point about giving people space, Issa did say when she talked to Lawrence that she just needs some time to unwind, a couple of weeks, whatever. So she does recognize that Molly takes time to get through things and cool off. And she did sense that. But Molly, being fake as shit, or maybe just like I said, trying to deflect away from trying to deflect away from the fact that Andrew was, kind of salty about her blowing off his brother, kind of plays like she's being welcoming. And it's really interesting because they clearly have so much history. They being Issa and Molly have so much history, so many great memories. And it felt good in that moment just to see that kind of interaction between all four of them. Really, it was really good. But I caught some of the little cues that Nathan had. I mean, not Nathan, Andrew had when he was kind of like, the way he would touch Molly, or kind of the way they would exchange a glance, like, see, I'm doing a good job here, right? Like, I'm not being an asshole. So when Molly sent that text message to Andrew, thinking she was sending it to Andrew, and said, see, I'm really trying, my blood was boiling for Issa. What was your reaction to that?
Oh, that was pure destiny. That was awesome. I mean, because it really shit on Issa, and the way I felt for her watching, like I got to see her just be like, man, fuck that bitch. Because that's what I was thinking when they was at Pants. Like, Issa, you don't need this shit, girl. Come on, man.
Yeah, yeah,
So I was I mean, I wasn't happy that that happened, but I was like, see, Issa, there you go. What more do you need? This
yeah,
girl is like, she don't want to fuck with you, at least right now, so y'all can kiki and bring up old jokes and history, but at the end of the day, that ain't it right now, no matter how you feel towards her. But Issa's already said that, like, oh, it's going to take some time. But I don't think Molly necessarily is thinking about time. She's thinking about, I want an apology. I want her to acknowledge that she was wrong and I'm right. She's not thinking, okay, well, if I just take more time or if I do this. So I don't know. I just thought I mean, I just, I just feel bad because it's like, I think, all of us has had a friend at some point in times where it's like when you're together, it's fun, it's great. But when you're not around each other, you're kind of like, why am I friends with this girl? So
yeah. There is
it's,
that. There is that.
I
But
just, the conversation afterwards was really telling. And it's like, Issa, you don't need this. You don't need this type of negativity. And with someone like Molly, Molly's gonna need Issa before Issa needs her. Issa's never been fully dependent on her. They were
right.
felt like their best friendship was mutual.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was very devastated for Issa because um when you're being genuine and you've already taken that first step, even though her event was ruined, there's no apology that she's received. And you are thinking, oh, we're kikiing like old times, and then to see like, oh, it's a show to you, it's a thing that you're trying to demonstrate to Andrew for the sake of their relationship, so Andrew doesn't think you're a fucking bitch. Like, I would have been pissed. It probably would have taken a lot for me to not slap the shit out of her. Like,
Ooh, would have been
what
ready.
Issa, yeah, I think I kind of think like, all right, maybe I wouldn't have slapped the shit out of her, but it would have just been like, I'm done with you, bitch. You're canceled. You're dead to me. Don't ever fucking talk to me ever again. Because that's some straight up bullshit. And I just think that that's fucked up. So then when Issa goes out and, Molly goes running after her, maybe, and that's the thing with Molly. Is it about an image? Is it about like, oh shit, I'm really sorry I hurt your feelings? I don't think she was all that sorry, because she turned around and said, well, the person that I'm seeing, the person that you are, that I'm seeing now, and the person that, I am now, maybe they just don't work together. Now let's recall the person that she's
Oh,
seeing
now
now.
what now? I
Right.
don't understand. How what
What is she seeing now? She's seeing a person who reached out to her first, who paid for the brunch, who had a successful event. Now she doesn't want to give her credit for that. A person who is a person who is let me just block this person because they're a little slow. How about that? Talk about what are you arguing about? Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, you can't. You too slow to keep the conversation. Go ahead, exit. Um. So yeah, I mean, what we're seeing is all positive, and what Molly is seeing is all trying to flip it as something that's negative. And I don't understand why with Molly you're great in your career, you have a relationship that's working. Issa is finding herself. She seems to be figuring out stuff that she has going on with her life. Those, when things are going well for both of you, you would think that would be the perfect time for y'all to be friends. Like that's what you hope for. That's when you start in a shitty apartment with the big ass stain, and you're doing all these things in your early 20s, and then when you get to your 30s, that's what you want to see for your friends. You want to see your friends win. And Molly, to me, does not seem like she wants to see Issa win. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, like it is, like you said, when everything's going good, that's when friends should be there and be cheering each other on the most. And I so it's clear that Molly is just not looking at it from that perspective. Like
Yeah.
she we it's like, what is she looking at? What is she thinking? Like, is she that focused on, you know, who Issa fucking with, and oh, you went behind my back to get to my boyfriend? Like she's just focusing on the wrong things right now.
Yeah. There's so many great comments. I'm gonna read off a couple of them. Um, a lot of really good comments. Let me see. Uh, I don't think Letitia says, I don't think Molly can accept a successful Issa. She seems to need all the attention on her. Privy says we need a new bae for Andrew. Damn, y'all cold. Molly, peace
He gonna
minded.
be gone. He gonna be gone soon.
I know it's about to be over for them. Peace minded says Molly has a lawyer's mindset and just wants to win. She was high key mad when Issa was okay. She was upset Issa was okay with it. Bye. When Issa's response to Molly was okay. Let's talk about that. Um, let's see. Brianna says Issa needs to leave Molly alone and let the friendship go because Molly is giving Issa negativity she doesn't need. Okay. Fabi says Molly is fixated on knowing she's right instead of acknowledging her friendship. Dree says Molly is self-destructive. Trying to be a fit mom says Molly feels no remorse. She feels Issa did her wrong and needs to apologize. JC says all they have is history right now. Brianna says Molly thinks it's all about her. LM Consultant says Molly is cold. It took her a long time to forgive her dad, which, by the way, it's not your place to even have to forgive him for cheating. That's between your dad and your mom, child. Let's see. Nicole says, what did Molly expect her to say? She wants it. So, okay, let's see. Molly needs to learn to reflect and see what part she played in the demise of their friendship. Molly has not changed. These are different people leaving these comments. Nisha said, she liked Fix Me Up Issa, not Issa that's making progress. Yes. Okay. So I think I've gone through a lot of those really good comments. Somebody said, let me go back to what Tamira says. The chase outside to get Issa after she said the wrong text showed me that she was being genuine with her to some extent. Molly has an issue being vulnerable, admitting things. She wants things resolved. Okay. June says, I just think the communication fell off with them. Yeah, but I think that it's not like it just magically fell off. I think that, Issa, from my perspective, has been trying to communicate. And Molly just absolutely refuses to. And even when Andrew suggested earlier in the episode, well, why didn't you bring it up? She got really pissed off and defensive. Um, but yeah, I loved that moment when I love June is okay. June is Team Molly. I could tell, girl. She said they was doing self care Sunday. Issa let the communication fall by the wayside. Well, so remember that they were in the grocery store and they were actually preparing for self care Sunday, and then they got that really catty argument with each other. I think that was the catalyst for things starting to fall off. So I think they both played a role in at least the self care Sunday part kind of falling off because they both were throwing digs at each other. But let's talk about that moment when, Issa says, okay, when Molly says, our who we are right now just doesn't work together. What do you think about that response?
Oh, that was a perfect response. Because the thing, clearly, Molly wanted her to like beg and grovel at her feet and just say more than what she said. But that the worst thing you can do to some people is not argue with their ass.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what Molly deserves at this point. Like, you've been taking digs at this girl, you cussed her out at her fucking event. Then you showed up to Pam's, couldn't even be decent enough to ask her how she's been doing.
Right.
You know, then you send her that raggedy ass text message by accident, like you some big, like you being the bigger person right now. So what the fuck what do you want from this girl? You know, so I would that's 100% how I would. I mean, no, when I would have been, well, when I got that text message, I would have been like, oh, okay, bitch. Well, I will see myself out. Since so you know, like you don't gotta try no more because I ain't no charity case. You
Yeah.
don't tolerate me. Like that would have been a conversation coming from my end. But yeah, I would have been like, okay, like I'm not finna argue with you. Like clearly this is what you're on. Your behavior has shown nothing but that. So you go be that way. We're not gonna exchange this energy. I'm not gonna, because whatever Issa said, she would have came back with something else negative or fucked up. She's not receptive. She don't want to hear it. She just wants people, she just want to be bad. Like
Right.
that's, and I don't know why, I don't know what she's missing in other aspects of her life that she is determined to get this from Issa. Like that's fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I'm reading the comments. Oh, okay. So June, you gotta watch tonight's episode. Maybe you won't be so team Molly.
Oh,
But
she got
there,
watched the episode. She didn't
she
watch
didn't
it.
watch it tonight. She didn't watch it tonight. Okay. All right. So there's a split in the comments. There are people who believe that Issa is more responsible for the initial onset of the demise of their relationship. Blowing off Self Care Sunday and things like that. Some people seem to believe that Issa blew off a chance to communicate. I don't know exactly what that is in reference to. But
Thanksgiving.
yep, you're right. Okay, so all right. So Issa was wrong about how she blew off Molly for Thanksgiving. So I do agree to whoever was saying that. You guys are right. I forgot about the Thanksgiving episode, and Issa clearly was trying to have no parts of Molly. But that was also after, wasn't that after Molly's super passive aggressive parking incident at what you call its house? I mean, I
No,
think they,
that was before.
oh, it was before. Okay, it was before.
Giving
Okay.
was before.
Okay, got it. Okay. All right. So perhaps some of this is rooted in a feeling of rejection or resentment and not wanting to seem like she's chasing after Issa or whatever the situation may be. But at the same time, you know what? I think that I agree with you that saying okay is the right thing to do. You know what it reminds me of? I think we've all been in a relationship where we're like, do you even like me?
Oh, girl,
Like
today.
today.
What the fuck? No, I'm kidding.
But I haven't been in too many friendships like that, but in terms of an actual romantic relationship where somebody is reading your ass down and you're like, damn, do you even like me? And it's like in
Like,
their
what
mind
you
maybe,
doing here? What you
yeah,
doing
I'm like,
here?
well, what the fuck would bitch go, like what the fuck nigga.
I don't see a gun in your head. Shit.
Exactly. And it's like, well, so to me, that reaction from like when you sit up there and say the person you are and the person I am, like you on this motherfucking pedestal and I'm shit, I'm chopped liver, then yeah, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and so I say that to say that like you don't have to be in those kind of relationships.
No.
So I'm about to just Twitch. I'm gonna stop live streaming to Twitch, y'all, because Twitch motherfuckers is some straight up weirdos. It don't even make no fucking sense. They come on every time I see Twitch comments, always almost on some bullshit. So people, I only got 2 followers on Twitch as it is, so there's really no reason for me to do it other than the fact that it don't cost me nothing to do it on Twitch. But anyway, the reason I say that is that you don't have to be in a friendship with somebody who doesn't like you, because all the
I have
shit.
had so many friendships like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm still in some friendships like that where it's like, well, bitch, what am I here for? You don't like me very much, do you? I'm always hurting your feelings. I'm just wrong. I wake up wrong. Like, what the fuck? I don't know, girl.
Yeah. So to me, I listen, when it comes to that, okay, see you later. Bye. Have a nice fucking life. Fuck you.
Bye.
Whatever.
Okay.
Bitch, bye. I don't have time for it. And I'm telling you, when like with my husband, now we never have any problems. We have a perfect relationship, but he loves me to death. Okay. Now he
Girl,
might give me a side
yeah.
eye. He might give me a side eye here and there, but he does not. The difference between him and every relationship I've ever been in is he does not tolerate me, he celebrates me. And even the fucked up shit about it, me talking shit, me always cussing, whatever the hell it is that I do that's totally fucked up in everybody else's eyes, he's like, okay, what you got? I know you got something to say. When I'm looking at a commercial and I'm commenting on it, he's like, I know you got something to say. So
Yeah.
he just knows how it is. So my whole point is that like when you get when you're around people that actually do celebrate you, you understand that you don't have to be tolerated by anybody, and you certainly don't have to be looked down upon by anybody who's supposedly your best friend. So I think that I appreciate that Issa did not try to defend herself in that moment because there's nothing to defend. She
No.
just walked away. And I think that if that doesn't make Molly realize I'm fucking up, then I don't know what will, because that was completely uncalled for. And she really needs to stop putting herself on a pedestal because she's hated at work. Remember that from the one guy, the rollerblader. And she doesn't have deep relationships with anybody. Somebody made a comment earlier, and I didn't get to. I can't find it now. Where they said, "Who does Molly have a healthy relationship with?" So she just she have herself on this pedestal for some reason that don't make any goddamn sense. So all right, I think we've gotten to the end of the episode. Next week is the season finale. The previews show to me even something even more explosive, where it seems like things are going to come to a head between with Nathan and with Lawrence. Um,
Oh yeah.
so as we wrap this up, who are you rooting for? Are you Team Lawrence or are you Team Nathan?
I am genuinely team neither. I'm team Issa. I think she
Okay.
doesn't need to jump into anything with either one of these men.
Really?
Absolutely. I mean, why can't she just chill, continue to concentrate on herself and be pursued? I mean, okay, so Nathan, he's working on this ownership and getting that
Mm-hmm.
up and running, and he's gonna be worried. He's gonna be concentrating on like his finances and doing this, and he's made it clear he wants her in her life, which is
Right.
so wonderful. And just to be told, like, you're good for me. You are a good person for me in any capacity in my life. But then you have Lawrence, who again, I don't care for his track record personally.
Yeah.
I think they're a cute couple. I think it's, I definitely could see a future with them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he has this whole San Francisco thing, and he, like you said, he didn't commit when she asked where are we going.
Yeah.
So honestly, it could go either way for me,
Yeah.
but I think she definitely should take a little bit more time with Nathan, because I'm still unclear on how well they know each other.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think you didn't watch that season, so they kind of like had this real, like, quick whirlwind
Oh,
affair. And I loved it. I loved it for Issa. It really was kind of like a catalyst for the Issa that we're seeing now, which is more ambitious Issa and things like that. And they had a really amazing connection, and then he ghosted her. So that's what happened with them. But I'm let me read through some of the comments. Let's see. Lawrence, Team Issa, Lawrence, Team Issa, Lawrence. Issa is gonna be in the catbird position finally. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Agreed season. Yes, team neither, team either. Because of her superior. Okay, so we're still we moving past it, Molly. I'm team neither, team Lawrence. I think they should go on ahead and give it another try. They are new people and they love each other. Love.
I didn't see that,
I
girl.
don't saw no love word thrown out there, but we'll see. Maybe that's coming next week in the next episode. Team Lawrence. I think Lawrence should move to San Francisco and have a spinoff show. I will not be watching that, but there's a Lawrence hive out there.
Definitely not watch that.
Agreed. Let Issa be pursued. Agreed. But Nathan, emphasis on the end. Team neither. Lawrence. I think Nathan should have a spinoff show about his barbershop. Girl, you trying to give everybody a spinoff show. I think Kelly should have a spinoff show. We doing spinoffs.
Kelly needs a
Um,
show. What's going on, Issa? Issa
yeah.
Rae.
Okay, Tamara says, love Issa and Lawrence if it has to be someone. I think Issa and Lawrence had a healthy reconciliation and great foundation to build on. I really, really agree. I really agree with that. I'm team neither. Only Lawrence, only because it's clear how she feels about him, but she should be cautious. Someone said Daniel's gonna come back. No, 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 no.
Daniel.
Somebody said, what about TSA guy? Well, you saw TSA guy had a new bag. I don't know if you caught that last week. Aggie put her on blast. I was so tacky how he did that. Talk about they was messing with each other. Nathan left Issa in the middle of an investigation and couldn't even text her and let her know he talked to the cops, but he could cut his friend hair the same day. Think about that. That's true. That is very true. If her love for Lawrence is real, she will pick him. But I saw the picture on the wall. What picture on the wall?
Oh, see people looking at the background like, oh, she over Nathan's house.
Oh, okay. I got
but
you.
he didn't even have because that picture that looked like what's the face house? That looked like our
Lawrence.
Was it Lawrence?
It looked like a restaurant to me. It looked like it was somewhere.
It did. It looked. Yeah, that's never mind. It did.
I didn't take that at somebody's house. Issa needs to go on vacation for. I agree. I'm team Issa. However, I would like her to try again with Lawrence. Only episode 8, they finally showed themselves to be vulnerable with one another. They own their BS, so why not give it? I agree. Team Nathan. All right, bye June. She said she's going to watch now. Yes. Let me know if you change your mind after watching the episode, if you agree with us a little bit more. Lawrence couldn't even articulate what he wanted. He asked Issa, like, come on, be straight about it. Team Issa, long distance wouldn't be bad. It would force him to take things slower. Team Issa, I feel like Issa was at Condola's house. That's something I did kind of consider. I think it was Condola she met. Okay, long, it crossed my mind. I don't know if I'm predicting that, but it did cross my mind. So I guess I'll wrap it up. I got through all the comments. And I would say I'm with you, Season. Originally, I was gonna say Team Nathan, but you talking through it convinced me that I'm just Team Issa. I'm just Team Issa winning. I think that she should absolutely keep her options open. Just because it's Nathan is ready at this moment, or just because Lawrence is ready at this moment, it doesn't mean that she has to rush to take a decision, because they've all come to this when they felt like coming to it. Nathan bounced and he came back when he felt like coming back. Lawrence bounced and now he's back when he feels like coming back. So I think she's well within her rights or she would be well within her rights just to see what happens. Now with Lawrence, she kind of opened it up with the whole, well, what are we thing? So if he decides to be like, all right, we're together, then it looks a little sometimey of her if she backs up on that. And with Nathan, I think that he will have to respect her on if she doesn't want to dive head first. And I hope that it's not an ultimatum or anything like that. But I expect maybe it's the season finale, there's going to be some sort of cliffhanger. So thank you all. Somebody said, Season, this is the last question. Do you think Condola is pregnant?
You know what? I read an article where it's like a lot of people think Condola is pregnant. If she is, y'all, we need to find Lawrence and fuck him up, honey, because he obviously they talked, right, where she would have said, I'm pregnant. And he did not use that as an opportunity to tell her, well, yeah, I talked to her and I got a situation. So
yeah.
Which is why I am not Team Lawrence. I'm not Team Nathan either though. But I would not be surprised. I think that would be a really good twist, and that would definitely explain why Lawrence is so adamant of like reeling Issa back in, so that she would be more open and accepting if that were the case, if he just came on strong and I want you back, but oops, I found out today I got a baby on the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, her Issa cheating on him, she would probably consider it like, well, damn, I fucked up too. I've made mistakes. So I don't know if the bitch pregnant, but if she is, I think that'll actually be a really good storyline. But I don't have a lot of faith in Insecure really pushing through with just like, whoa, that took me clean the fuck out. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't. I would be really shocked if Condola was pregnant. And she seems more responsible than that, unless she was trying to trick a nigga and what's it called? Trap him. But it didn't seem like that wouldn't be consistent with what was said about her from her friend, like, oh, Lawrence is just a fun guy and things like that. So I don't see that happening. But some people were saying that, that they think that something is still up with Lawrence and Condola.
Absolutely. She was so pressed to get in contact with him and see him.
It just seemed like they tried to kind of like it didn't add up. Like, that's why, to me, I completely missed when he said they're not messing around with each other. So we'll see what happens next week. Thank you all for watching us. Thank you, Season, for joining me and talking about Insecure. This is probably really long, but I appreciate all your comments, and if you guys continue to leave comments, I'll go back and check at least the YouTube for the comments. But next week is the season finale. Me and Season will be back at a minimum, so I hope that you guys join us. Let me know if you guys like this whole live format. This was our first time doing it live, and I think I did a pretty okay job of multitasking. Season.
You did, girl. I didn't even look at the live feed because I'm all bad.
Yeah. Okay. All right, y'all. Peace out. Y'all take care. Have a good night. Bye.